Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Adam Burke from BangTheBook.com, coming to you with a look at the Indy 500, the signature event of the IndyCar Series season coming up this Sunday at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And a preview of this event over at BangTheBook.com, as well as a preview of the Coca-Cola 600, one of the top events of the NASCAR Cup Series season here this weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And you can check out the video preview of that Coca-Cola 600 right here on our Bang the Book YouTube channel. Speaking of our Bang the Book YouTube channel, we've got AFC and NFC North season win total odds and previews from Brian Blessing to go along with a look at the Stanley Cup Finals. The Blues and the Bruins get that underway here on Monday. Over at the website, we got a lot of great stuff going on. Coverage of the NBA and NHL playoffs, daily MLB picks and tips, weekly UFC, NASCAR, golf, soccer, tennis, French Open coming up next week. We'll have a good preview of that from Big Ten Watto. So lots of good things going on over at BangTheBook.com as well. All right, so we take a look here at the Indy 500 again at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Last day of practice on Friday. It is Carb Day. You've got the Indy Lights Freedom 100 today as well. So when I went to record this video, the odds were down. However, that being said, qualifying was wrapped up last weekend. So barring a driver injury or some sort of crash, mechanical failure, teams having to go to the backup car, something like that, these odds should wind up being pretty consistent from what they were when I wrote that preview earlier on in the week. Will Power and Simon Pagenaud were your favorites at plus 750. Ed Carpenter and Alexander Rossi plus 850. Joseph Newgarden plus 850. Carpenter and Rossi plus 840. Newgarden plus 850. Colton Herta plus 1100. Spencer Pigot and Scott Dixon plus 1300. Helio Castro Nieves plus 1,500. Everybody else, 20-1 or higher on down. Lots of guys in this race. We don't have a whole lot of multiple winners in this race. Castro Nieves has won it 3 times. He's the only active driver with 3 wins. A lot of variance here in this race where guys will finish 1st, 2nd, 6th, 12th, 15th. A lot of wrecks, a lot of mechanical failures, things of that sort here when you talk about the open wheel racing circuit. So it is hard to find a lot of consistency when handicapping these IndyCar races. As you look at the standings here so far this year, Newgarden is the points leader, Dixon 2nd, Rossi and Pagenaud tie for 3rd. Takumi Sato wraps up the top 5. He's 5th. Will Power is 6th. As I mentioned, one of the co-favorites here this weekend. No finish is higher than 3rd so far this season. But in breaking down this race here, one of the things that I tried to look at was success on the oval tracks. This is the first oval track race of the season. Everything else has been on road course racing surfaces. So it's a little bit different of a handicap in that regard. Scott Dixon here with a win, 2 seconds and a 3rd in the Indy 500. Joseph Newgarden with his 11 wins in his career, 3 of them coming on ovals. Pagenaud, as I mentioned, one of the co-favorites here this weekend, but he's finished no better than 6th in the Indy 500. Rossi won the first Indy 500 that he ran in 2016. He'll start 9th here this weekend. I think he's a decent bet at plus 840. But again, not a whole lot of oval courses to look back at. We talk about golf. We talk about course form data. We talk about recent form data. Well, it's a lot different when you go from a road course to an oval. Some guys like the ovals. Some guys don't. And we kind of see this here when it comes to the Indy 500 with a lot of different winners over the last several years, and I outlined that in my preview over at BangTheBook.com. One thing I will tell you here, as we look ahead to the rest of the IndyCar Series season, the next oval race is in Texas, at Texas Motor Speedway on June 8th. So a lot of the hallmarks of this Indy 500 handicap you'll want to carry over to Texas. I mentioned Alexander Rossi, I think, is a decent bet here this weekend. I like one of the co-favorites as well. I like Will Power. 2 wins at Pocono in his career, 2 wins at Texas, 3 wins here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the Indy Grand Prix, which does use the main straightaway as part of that road course race. But he also won last year's Indy 500. Yeah, it's a fairly short price at plus 750, but I do like Will Power here this weekend. Alexander Rossi, a beer money type guy, and then a real long shot, real cheap beer money. We talk about racing and sponsorships, maybe a Keystone Light or a Natty Daddy kind of bet here on Tony Kanaan. Plus 2650. Not much success in this race, but a decent matchups pick. I think if you find some matchups, you can go with him. wins in his career at Texas Motor Speedway, at Auto Club Speedway. He's had some decent runs in the Indy 500 before, just very inconsistent, like a lot of the drivers here in this race. So in that plus 2,600 range, not a bad bet to throw some really cheap beer money, not craft beer money, but some really cheap money on Tony Kanaan. So for the Indy 500 here, Will Power, my favorite pick for this one. Not a big surprise there being one of the co-favorites, but one of the guys that's had a lot of success on the oval tracks in his career. Make sure you check out that preview over at the website. Check out everything else we have to offer here on our Bang the Book YouTube channel. And I'm Adam Burke from BangTheBook.com.